Hola, bon dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show. Good morning to you. Hola, bon dia. Tudo bem? Bon dia, alegria. You know the greetings that we exchange and share here on the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. And I don't know how long I'm going to keep this up, but subscribe here. You know what? We're nearly up to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. And talking of YouTube, I have some very special guests. Somebody said to me, Milder, I think. Isn't this funny how here I am in Portugal, and one of our Finnish listeners, I believe, said, you should check out Andrea and Omar, the Indigo Escape. Amazing people. And so I did. And they're here this morning. Good morning to you, Andrea and Omar of the Indigo Escape. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for having us.
It's lovely to have you here. And already our community are keen to greet you. Some may have noticed we've got a slightly sticky web connection, but I think you are in the deepest, wildest Central Portugal, so in some ways only to be expected. Do excuse me. Hola, bon dia, Hank in California. Check this out, folks. People in California already tuning in from Portugal, I believe. Hank's out of the gate already. So Louise is saying, one of our fellow YouTubers, Peter Bleach over there in Fundao. Bon dia, alegria from a cloudy but warmish mountainside. Morning, Louisa. Saying good morning to Mrs. M there, I think. Gentlemen, start your engines, says Hank. And from the UK. I think you know the UK as well. You spent a bit of time in the UK, haven't you? Greetings from Harrogate. Weather back to normal in the UK. Grey skies and a single-figure temperature there this morning. Well, good morning to you, Paul. Have you got a link to send me? I think you might have. Embalages Ramadan. Haven't seen you for a while, but bon dia to you. Mrs. Vengeance, as we call her, Denise. Vinnie Vengeance's Mrs. over there in New Zealand. Good evening, of course, from New Zealand. Bon dia from a jazzy, sunny Silver Coast. Check you out this morning on the Silver Coast. Deborah Davies, bon dia. A lot of people haven't been around for a while. Where you been? Bon dia from Carolyn in Moscow. Always delighted to say Carolyn is over there listening in Moscow. I'm not sure about her. I think she's keen to be here. Bon dia, Alegria. Really looking forward to hearing Indigo Escape. They are two of the most authentic doer-uppers on YouTube currently. There you go. How's that? Bon dia, alegria from Mike Campion. Jazzy, bloomin' autocorrect. I'd have gone with that. Nothing wrong with the jazzy Silver Coast. Good morning from Tomar. A bit rainy here. Maria Costa, of course, will be with us with the Ask Our Expats team tonight on the webinar, among others. Some lovely people who live here in Portugal are happy to help you, and you'll be able to talk to them on Zoom tonight. Oh, we watched them. You've been spotted. Love the transportable tiny house. I think you're going to have to tell us about the house on the crane being hoisted into the boat. That was a very dramatic moment. Sorry about this, but everybody say hello. We will get to talk to you eventually. Love your new vlog on your trip from UK to Portugal. Very cool. That's Hank talking to Louise. Gary Austin, Garvo, Central Portugal as well. The Central Portugal Massive are in the house. Bon dia, alegria. Up north in Portugal, bon dia from a sunny Porto de Vagim. Vera Golden, well done, guys. Good luck in your new home. That's for you, Andrea and Omar. Someone's in from Nepal. How are you? From Nepal. From Singapore. Oh, sorry, not Singapore. Shropshire. Didn't read the bit in the middle. Bon dia from Shropshire. John Rooney, just as exotic in his own way. Bon dia from Magdalena. Hello, sister and brother-in-law. Who's this?
My sister.
Fabulous. Ella Ayala. I love you both. And there's a lot of love for you here this morning. Good morning, everyone from Gemini as well. So, Andrea and Omar, what possessed you to do such a thing? To go and live in the middle of Portugal and get yourself a Portugab and have it hoisted on this crane and have so much fun with that? How did this story begin?
Well, we've always had quite an adventurous streak. Like ever since we've met, we've done
we've done lots of traveling. We've hitchhiked around Spain. We've lived in caves. We've done, you know, there's definitely a very adventurous streak in us. And then, like, I think while we were in England, we were starting to get very bored. And, you know, we were like, my God, you know, we need to really get back out there and relive this part of us that, you know, we really treasure. And we always have the best of times is when we're very spontaneous.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And it was also like living in COVID, just kind of like really thinking about the priorities that we have in life. I wanted to live closer to nature, and we wanted to enjoy more quality of life, sitting down in a cafe. I know we can't do that right now, but we will in the future. And just having a sense of community and all of that Portugal really offers. So
and good weather,
and the weather and the food.
It's so important.
But yeah, basically that was a big motivation for us to go and do it as soon as we could. And COVID was like, do it now, and we did.
Yeah. Okay, so a bit of a perfect storm of circumstances to bring this about. On Thursday, we tend to have a little tour around Portugal. We call it Places and Spaces Thursday. And there's this ongoing debate, I suppose you'd call it, about the best place to live in Portugal. Anyone who watches this show will know that Central Portugal is very close to my heart. It obviously is to yours now. Why did you choose Central Portugal, and which bit are you in? Could you tell the folks about that?
Well, we've come to Portugal several times. I've actually traveled around Portugal a lot. We've gone to Lisbon, Porto, Lagos, Algarve, Tavira, and
well, your sister lives here.
And my sister lives here, so that's one motivation. But also, like, Central Portugal, it's very well positioned. So if you wanted to go to the city, you can. Coimbra is very close. It has a great university and a great hospital. You have really good access from here, very affordable properties, very green.
As well, like when we first decided that we were going to move to Portugal, the first place that we really wanted to go to was Lagos, because we previously lived in Brighton and Bournemouth, you know, so we're very used to living in these touristic seaside towns.
Yeah.
And we love that, you know. And so we really explored Lagos, and just, you know, we wanted to go there, but then we realized that it was just a little bit too much out of our price range.
Very much.
And then as well, like, we have a friend over there, Carlito, who is he's a marine biologist, and he was telling us all about the issues of the water problem in the Algarve, and how in the next 20 years, maybe it will become more prominent, the water issues. And he had a very similar idea of, you know, wanting to get property one day, and he was really advising us, you know, Central Portugal's, you know, ticks all the boxes really. So, you know, we did think as well about Lisbon. Again, the pricing was a little bit too high. We love Lisbon so much. It's a great place, Lisbon, and yeah, I mean, that's how it just seemed like we just kept on coming back to Central Portugal. And
I think it will grow. It has a lot of potential to grow, this area. I think in 10 years, this will be a very different place.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Yes, well, I'd like to hear more about your ideas about Central Portugal, because clearly, you know, the people have moved away, haven't they, to the coast or abroad or into the big cities. And so I'm completely in love, like you, I think, with Central Portugal and all the promise that it has. And I think things are happening on a government level to try and repopulate and re-stimulate the local economies before they just about fizzle out. And they have done in some places, let's face it. But you, am I right in thinking you're in Vila Nova de Paris? Is that your particular part of Central Portugal? Because that's a very fascinating thing. Yeah, what led you to that particular part of the particular part of Portugal that is Central Portugal?
Well, we're 15 minutes away from Coimbra, and we are 1 hour away from the beach, so that's a big plus. And my sister lives on the other side of the town, so that's, you know, and then she knows people. So we thought that it would be really good to go to a place where there was some contacts, that then, you know, if we move here, then they can advise us on materials we can use and the best electrician. And
finding builders as well is really, you know, like,
it's difficult here, like,
completely. knowing people that have done similar projects to us, and who's a reputable, builder and things like that. It's very important.
Yeah, and also the children go here to school, and my sister has had a great experience with the schools here. So we want to have a family in the future, so we wanted to already have second-hand experience in what we wanted to do in the future. So that was really important.
Sounds good. Yes, so that's a really good checklist there for that particular part of Central Portugal. I have been there. Yeah, I know a lot of lovely friends actually live around that area. It is a fascinating part if people don't know it. So you mentioned budget before, and that's one really remarkable aspect of your story, isn't it? And I think why people are so excited by your YouTube channel. You are on Instagram and on YouTube. I've put the YouTube link in the comments, and we've also got an Instagram for the Indigo Escape there, instagram.com/Indigo Escape. Are you happy to tell us a little bit more about this incredible budget of yours that I think has really wowed people? And well, maybe before you do the big reveal as you did on your video, tell us about how this project is shaping up and why it was you had to have your first home hoisted in with this dramatic crane. That was an extraordinary bit of TV, basically. So tell us about that and maybe reveal to us your budget. You're very open about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Yeah, so I mean, like, we always envisaged getting we'd done our homework and we wanted a ruin that was easy to renovate, that didn't need to have a habitation license, and so we had to find like a balance between something that was able to be fixed up, but not that we had to knock it down and put it back together again. But to get to that to that balance, we knew that it was probably going to be something that we weren't going to be able to live in and fix up at the same time. We've had that experience before in England, living in at the place that you're fixing up, and we were like, never again.
It's really difficult.
So yeah. And the container idea was something that we just came across on OLX, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we were thinking about caravans, and then we saw this one. And we're like, well, that makes more sense because it's not going to deteriorate on the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a lot more spacious as well.
Yes.
Like you have quite a lot of space above your head, which I find very important.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically it was in my sister's land before, and we got it before. And then we were thinking about coming here, but then COVID happened. We're like, we just have to go and do it. And then... and that was the place that we used to base ourselves first while we were looking for property.
We kind of spontaneously bought that container because when we saw it on OLX quite a long time ago, we were really surprised about the price, and we comparing it to other containers that we had seen and caravans, that was just such a good deal. So we actually bought that in 2019, and we weren't even in Portugal. Like, we just bought it, and we asked our sister-in-law, Andrea's sister, can we put it on the land?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, no problem, we've got a spare space. So it was kind of just sitting there for like a year.
Yeah.
And and then it was just COVID came along, and it was like,
we got a container there.
Yeah, let's just go and live there, because then at least we have to pay rent.
Yes.
And bill, we obviously contributed towards bills, but it was far cheaper to do that than to stay in England.
Yeah.
And so once we got there, we painted it up, we put fire stove, and it had like a kitchen, half a kitchen installed. So we just got a few things and slotted them in.
This is the container. We are here now.
Yeah. And it's been,
dramatic scenery, is the dramatic footage. I mean, when this is being hoisted in. So there it goes. It's in position. I mean, that must have been an amazing day in your journey. I loved watching that. I was on the edge of my seat.
To be honest, it was a lot more dramatic and stressful. I just didn't want people to have any indigestion watching it, because it was just...
Yeah, like literally, we had our neighbor who came and saved. It was a container like surfing
on the hills.
And we're like, man, go that way. It's going the wrong way. And then like whacking us a breeze block to kind of stop it from tipping back. And it was an intense day.
Yeah.
There you go. She's happy there. Oh,
Bang on
okay.
it. Yeah,
So
it was great.
that's your life is in there at the moment. That's your sort of living pod, isn't it? So you're not having to live among all the renovation and restoration works. You've got yourself a nice cozy little home inside the. I call it a porter cabin. You called it a what was it? A container.
Container. Oh, yeah, there's
Yeah.
more of a porter cabin.
It's more correct, yeah.
But you've got a lovely cozy little home in there, and so then tell us more about the rest of the house, because that's now your domestic base camp, isn't it? And you're ready now to do some work inside the big building. Tell us about the big building.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of it's about 250 meters squared. It's your traditional kind of adega on the basement, and then the house is on the top. The thing that I really like about the actual house, not the outbuildings, which is probably around 50 meters squared or something, is that the walls are really solid, so we can go and get like a roofing license, and it's not going to be a whole project, because as soon as you start moving it into a whole project, that's when like all the new building regulations, like windows have to be this big, doors have to be that big, and you might as well just knock it down and rebuild it. So I really like the actual house because all the main walls are really solid and stable, and we can just get a roofing license and avoid the whole project kind of building reg situation.
Yeah.
The outbuildings is a different story. Like the walls are, like some of the walls literally have to be taken right down and put back up again. But that we can still keep it within the restoration footprint and the footprint, rather than bring it all into a new project. So we're very excited to get started with that. And
there's a courtyard as well. And I mean, the house could be livable if we place some OSB stuff, and
we could make it more temporarily.
Oh, we've lost them there. I'm sure the connection will come back. It might be difficult because I'm running the video as well, but we're looking at some owl poo this morning. Are you there, guys?
We found a lot of owl poo.
Okay, so you've got some nice neighbours, obviously, who don't clean up after themselves, but they're fantastic to be in the company of in the evenings. And I think we're going to see here more of the interior from this particular video. I mean, I think the reason why people love you so much is because you're blazing a trail, and you've done so much of the research. And I think what will happen here is you're going to save a lot of other people from a lot of unnecessary stress and pain. So they really owe you. I think the least they can do is subscribe to Insta and your YouTube, and maybe bung you a few super chats as well. I would say. Let me just say, while we're watching those lovely pictures, and then we'll come back to I mean, you've got a lot of lovely land there, haven't you? Let's see what some of the comments are saying, and we can take some questions as well. Thank you for being here this morning. This is great. Andrea and Omar from the Indigo Escape, YouTube sensations at the moment. Let's see, where were we? Yaisa Price is here. Yaisa, probably, I do beg your pardon. Bon dia from Central Portugal. You're amazing, guys. Well done. Wash hands. Obviously, when you're doing any sort of construction work, wash your hands at the end of the day. Bon dia, amigos. Bon dia, Andrea and Omar. Prosecco Peggy is in the house. I think you've got a fan in Peggy already. Everybody on the bus, says Peggy. We're on our way. Bon dia from Joel up in the north. I'm just going to mute your microphone for 1 minute, and then I'll come straight back to you, because we've got a bit of an echo. Hola, hola. Hola from the US, from Doreen as well. Peter is saying, Ella Ayala, sister, you must have been such a help to Andrea and Omar. How lucky they are. So acknowledgement for your sister as well. Bon dia from sunny Tercera, from Donna. Good morning, Donna. How are you doing? Let's have a look. Oh, yes, serious about fence posts. That's related to a conversation from yesterday, Louise. I love this, says Louise. Practically the same as my story for coming to Portugal. So people can really relate to this. Very good morning to all from Nuno Mendes. Good morning to you, Nuno. Hold on a minute. Druba's here from Sintra's farming family, who I think will also be keeping a very close eye on what you're doing. Also renovating over there in Sintra. Lovely homestead there. I actually had a proper coffee yesterday, Gary says. a takeaway, but it was a taste of freedom in my mind, even if it was a little lukewarm. It does happen, doesn't it, when it's not straight out the coffee machine and on the counter there, Gary, but I know exactly what you mean. Did you have a nata with it? This is a good question. We'll come back to this one. Would you consider something like Workaway for help with the build? I would sign up. You've already got a willing worker there. Good luck, Andrea and Omar. You are young enough to travel and enjoy your life, says Paul. Most people leave it too late and then suffer from other problems. Life is for living, says Mr. Richards in Yorkshire. Gemini Carl, what is the name of that place called in Central Portugal? Well, I'll find that for you. You've got a new follower on Insta from Denise over there in New Zealand. Bon dia from Antonio F. So many lovely comments and questions. This is fantastic. I tried to follow my dream by settling in Portugal after 32 years in South Africa, says Vera, but unfortunately was defrauded by Brits fraudulently selling non-existing log homes. How dare they? Let us know more about that, Vera. We need to stop other people having that problem and see what we can do to help you. I'm in UK now, but still yearn for Portugal. Don't give up, Vera. Seriously. Good luck, guys. I wish you well. Bon dia from Maria Santos. I love this, Andrea and Omar. Carl, where do you find these people? You find these people. People say to me, you should talk to so-and-so. I send them an email and they come on the show within 48 hours. Every day you have the most amazing people on your show. Thank you, Louise. They are. They really are. Lita and I are enjoying following your exploits. Paul Williams and Lita in the Algarve. Talking to you there, Andrea and Omar. Susan, hola from Susan. And finally for now, oh, I can't read that. That's a tricky one. I'm going to call you KK. Bon dia from West Sussex and the Brewer family. Looking forward to getting back to Central Portugal soon. Well, hello, Brewer family. What an interesting Facebook name you have. So what was that wonderful question? Let's unmute your mic and let us ask you if you would consider having Workaway people come and help you. You do need a bit of help there, I think it's fair to say.
Definitely, definitely. As soon as we have some place to be able to offer them a nice place to sleep and, you know, a kitchen that we can allow people to, you know, obviously they can eat our food if they want, but if they want to cook themselves as well, that would be a good option.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to think about that. Sure. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Workaway and really good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. We got a little bit of a bounce on the echo. We're running the pictures of the home. I think people are going to be loving it. So you know, we've seen that some of the drama and stress involved, and obviously it would be when you're hoisting a massive porta cabin in and out of places. And I think the driver too had his fair share of head scratching. We'll call it that during that little mission there to bring your home into the center of your new home. What other things do people know about that have been, you know, part of the ups and downs of this journey for you?
Question.
Well,
to be honest,
I would think that, like, we had no experience about living in a metal box, and we've definitely learned you know, the things that aren't so great about living, like condensation, for example.
Get a dehumidifier.
Yeah,
sure.
The dehumidifier saved our life. It was raining inside this building.
At one point,
yeah, because there was just so much condensation. And as well, it got very cold at some points in the winter.
Yeah, it was like,
even with our fire burner. You know, like we were waking up every 2 hours to like keep it warm. So I think that, you know, if we were to do it again, we would be looking at insulating, especially the roof, you know, putting some tongue and groove wood on the top and a bit of insulation, hopefully would solve it. And then, you know, like maybe another outside roof would be very good. So, I mean, that, you know, like we had some very cold nights.
Yeah, like 3 degrees in.
So that was quite a challenge.
Amazing, yeah, and people do underestimate that. Again, you are blazing the trail for people. And when my wife Louisa, Mrs. M, as we know her in this community, talked to expats everywhere, this is an issue that came up: the cold and the damp. You know, and if you really want to avoid that, head south in Portugal. But if you're going to be in Central Portugal with all the beautiful facets and features of Central Portugal, you need to be ready for that, because it can be quite a surprise. It does get cold, doesn't it? I mean, you're talking there about you having your own microclimate of fog inside the porta cabin. What sort of winter temperatures are you talking about there? And how much rain did you experience during the winter?
this
Oh, there we go.
than what people
They were
said
expecting.
and expected. And then we had a leak because the top was blocked, like the outside.
Our guttering had been blocked up.
So then it came all down here, and we're like, oh my god, no! And everything got wet. And but I think this has been a particularly cold winter for this area. It got to 3 degrees. We got, I think one day was -1 outside.
It was. We had several nights where it was minus temperatures.
It was too cold, kind of like you could see you breathing.
Whether that you would associate with England, not Portugal.
Well, like, we've been lied to. What's this?
Yes, we've all been there.
Completely. I think, the container is as well in the summer, like it's going to be very hot. I think it's always just, it makes the temperature more extreme. So if it's cold outside, it will be very cold in here. If it's hot outside, it will be even hotter, like an oven in here. So like we really need to work out, we need to get our air conditioner working. There you are. And
but it's really comfortable now. I think we've taken the things that we don't need that's like bits later in the future video. But we've made this more comfortable for us by using the house as a storage for now. So we are a lot more comfortable, and then we can then take it a little bit easier as well, which is
it's really nice to be able to go out and sit in the house when it's very, very hot, because it's so much cooler than being in here. So it's nice to have that option now.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at these pictures of your beautiful purchase here, your property purchase. You've got so much lovely land, so much lovely space, and let's face it, a lot of work to do. But you're looking at a long-term project, a labour of love, I'm sure, with this. Paul is asking, well, after Ludwig Dingeldiner said good morning, Paul is asking, did you set a budget for the work, and have you kept to the plan? So we're being a bit nosy here, but you did reveal this on your YouTube. What was the cost so far, and what sort of budget do you have in mind?
Well, this container cost 2,500 euros. The house was 31,627 to be precise. 32,000 euros.
Very precise.
Yeah, and it's 3,389 square meters of land. So I think
our budget is,
and then the budget is
like we are very tight on budget at the moment, and we are hoping that we'll be able to start generating an income soon. But the way that we've looked at it is that we've spent the last 10 years in Bournemouth. We've spent almost 12,000 euros on rent there. Per year, and a lot of the money that we've been making has been through tourism, where we work online or we're out on the road on a bus taking people around Europe. And we hope to replicate that again when COVID goes away. So the idea is that this project is something that's going to be a 5 to 10 year project. And if we were to put the same amount of money that we put that we were paying our rent in Bournemouth, for example, but into this property, at least it's our money, not in someone else's money.
And going to our property.
So I don't know. I mean, it's a bit like we haven't actually set a budget and been like, okay, we're going to put 75,000 into this house. We're just going to pretend that it's like rent, and instead of paying it into someone's bank account, we're going to pay it into our house and fixing it up. If we need a builder, we get a builder. If we need planning, we get planning.
But it will probably cost a minimum, we'll probably say about 70,000 euros.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably going to be about 75,000 to make it kind of how we imagine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something like I could just imagine putting lots of money, more money, and
you
making
probably
it very
never
beautiful.
end making your house lovely, So to make it basic, I probably I think another
20. It definitely needs at the moment about 20
at least,
just to kind of get it so we can live in it. A new roof and new windows, a toilet, a septic tank, something like that. So we're kind of at the moment we're trying to save as much as we can to be able to get those little projects done.
The basics.
So hopefully tourism returns at to some level this year. If not, will be next year. So, but we can hold out. So
I think you're a lovely balance of optimistic and realistic there. And often people fall the wrong side of either of those, don't they? But clearly you've got a long-term plan. You have this great sense that it's your own thing that you're investing in, which is really lovely. And yes, you're I think you're quite clear about the cost, and it's going to take a long time, but you're in for the long haul, which is really wonderful. Great balance of optimism and realism there, as far as I can see. Paul and Louise, Andrew and Omar, in one of the rooms there is a hole in the wall at shoulder height. We've heard various reasons for this. For keys, for money, for valuables, for a candle. Any idea what it's for? Have you investigated that?
That might be the kitchen, like the kitchen next to the fireplace. There's a weird hole there, and it's almost like when they put the wall in, they put a piece of a porcelain kind of jug, and then they broke it and pulled it out because it's like a perfect sphere inside, and I have no idea what it is for.
We've been meaning to ask people. It did look like
a place for salt, maybe. I don't know.
It did look like salt particles in it, but we are not sure.
Yeah,
we don't want to make
we've
things
actually
up.
been wondering what that is. I mean, obviously you've got like these proper like holes in the wall where there's like a little light, like where they've kind of allowed the lights, or maybe it's where a beam used to kind of slot in before, or they've thing, but there is some very weird.
We'll find out and put out and then mention in one of our videos because that's interesting. Actually,
yeah, we don't know. If you do know, please let us know.
Yeah.
That's a great mystery. So we're hoping to have you back, obviously, periodically to see how you're doing there, and maybe get a bit of live footage from the plot. And so that mystery will remain for the time being, and hopefully will be solved at some point. I think some of our Portuguese viewers may be able to give us a bit of a clue on that. They might remember it from being at grandma's in Central Portugal or something like that. I don't mind the cold, but having heard Mrs. M, says Susan, are you now talking about excessive damp? I don't. Well, it's all relative, isn't it? Excessive damp. It's certainly damper than we. It's differently damp. That's what I'm going to say, and that is a concern for arthritic me. Yes, with arthritis, rheumatism, and so on. If you are susceptible to the damp, you do need to be thinking of moving further south. I would say, or the Alentejo. Where is the driest part of Central Portugal? Andrea and Omar, have you got a view on that?
That we have seen.
Well, on that side, the east side of Central Portugal, I would say is drier.
We've been really hot as well.
But we've only ever been to Castelo Branco area in July and August. I don't know what it's like during winter, but it came across as a lot more of a drier environment than here, which is very like we're much more in the mountains. And,
we've got a bit of bouncy broadband.
There's a lot of sorry about that.
It's par for the
course. We're
actually
in the middle of trying to get.
Sorry, go on, Omar. Right. I think right. I think you might have been saying you're improving your Wi-Fi. So yes, but the answer to your question, Susan, was maybe to explore Castelo Branco and the border, the drier, almost sort of desertified landscape of the Portuguese-Spanish border there, and that's why you've got to come and try it. Before you buy, if you've got particular requirements like that. I think it's really important, if you possibly can, to do that. Ludwig, when renovating, the budget always gets blown out of the water. Expect at least double the budget you want to put into it, says Ludwig. Bit of help there. Fabulous project. Well done, and good luck to you both. Let's see if their Wi-Fi improves, or if we've lost them. But we will certainly talk to Andrew and Omar again. What lovely people. Best of luck to you both, from Peggy Luttrell. Oh, they're back again. Gemini, great project if you've got the time and money. Absolutely. I'm going to need both of those. Good morning, all, from Andrew Gilchrist this morning. And Sue, it's drier in Castelo Branco. So there's a good tip for you, Sue. from Corrie there. Yes, explore Castelo Branco and heading over towards the Spanish border. Susan, come to the Algarve, says Peggy. Lowest humidity in Portugal. She's right. She's absolutely right. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and this is comfortable for me, says Peggy, to back up her invitation there. Hola, Louise. Looking forward to viewing your new vlog. So we'll get Louise back on as well at some point if she'll come. Wayne, you're one of those incredible people you speak about, Louise. Late to the party as usual is Wayne. A last working day today. Excuse to break out the bubbles. You don't need permission for that, Wayne. Yes, definitely get some of that Portuguese espumante ready to celebrate this last working day today. I think there is hard work ahead because you're similarly involved in a renovation project. You probably mean your day job, right? Anyone with arthritis might consider avoiding oranges, white potatoes, aubergines in their diet. We've got you back, Andrea and Omar. I think the connection's better. Yeah, you there? No, maybe not. I simply treasure to hear the adventures of all the guests on the Good Morning Portugal show, says Hank. Enjoying all of this from the luxury of California. Hole in the wall, says Antonio F. I knew a Portuguese person might have a guess on this. Place to set an olive oil lamp for lighting. Amazing. And there's almost a marinade going on there with the olive oil and the salt you mentioned. I love their brand. It's fresh, fun. Vinny said he likes their font as well. So the people are appreciating your styling. Let's see. Are we? How's our connection at the moment? Oh, what a shame. Struggling to hear you guys at the moment. Linda says Gary has arthritis, which is very much improved since we've been here. Good heating and ventilation in the winter is a must. A good pellet burner will fire central heating, as will some log burners, which make things much better. So there are solutions, obviously, but again, they require investment. Andrea and Omar, are you there? It's a tricky one when people are in the middle of nowhere, as you can see, these guys are. The connection can sometimes be a bit difficult. Can you hear me now, guys? Oh, what a shame! What a shame. Okay, well, we will get them back another time. I will. I'll just pop them in the green room for a moment, rather than have their frozen faces there, and see if that improves in a minute or so. We can take a look at the weather column. We can take a look at the news headlines. Very interesting, Antonio F. Olive oil was used in the past for lighting. Amazing little bit of. Oh, hold on a minute. Is he winding us up? Well, it is April the 1st. I wonder, is he referring? No, I'm sure olive oil was used for lighting in the past. Olive oil was used for everything, I suspect, in the past. Thanks, Peggy. And all don't care for hot either. Yes, I mean, it's going to be very hot over in Castelo Branco. So I think the south is going to be better for you, Susan, which is why I've looked at Central, but dry is important. Driving around next fall and winter will hopefully provide answers. I think we've improved our connection. No, it's not embarrassing. It's fine, Andrea and Omar. Are you there?
No, it's not working. It's fine.
Oh, we can hear you talking a little bit there. Oh, what a shame. Okay, well, I think they'll come back. We definitely want to see them come back, and we wanted to ask them, what else would you recommend to people in a similar situation? And the big question always with people is like, are you glad with the decision you've made? Would you do it all again? And you can see from their faces, they absolutely would. They are deeply committed and passionate about their part of Central Portugal, I think, and their lovely little project that they've got there. So Andrea and Omar from the Indigo Escape, I'm sure you got the gist of what they're about and saw some of the lovely visuals there. So we will look forward. Thank you for being here this morning, Andrea and Omar, and we look forward to having you again sometime on the Good Morning Portugal show. These things happen. Some people. This is another question we get, isn't it? Where's the best internet? And am I going to be able to run my online business? Some parts of Portugal, that's going to be a bit of a challenge, as you've just seen. Other parts, like where Andrew is saying now, Algarve and Alentejo are beautiful. However, Lisbon has fiber optic internet. I've got fiber here. We're in the northern part of Central Portugal here, in the Aveiro district. We've got fiber here as well, Andrew. Wi-Fi is pretty cool and good, generally speaking, around Portugal. There are notable exceptions. Andrew and Omar, we're going to try one more time. How are you doing there?
Yeah,
It's unfortunately sounding like robots. We'll try one more time. Let me ask you the question then. So I think not ideal. Not ideal. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe all the kids in their local area have just logged on, and other adults working, which is taking up some of their data power there. Okay, Sean Maguire's here as well. Good morning, Carl. Expecting rain soon. Yes, I think we have got a little bit of sort of midweek rain here, haven't we? And Ludwig Dingeldine, we're in an old house, and the holes in the walls were used to put oil lamps. So I think we are moving towards the idea of oil lamps, the hole in the wall. Before electricity was available. I imagine in Portugal it was similar. Do shout out Andrea and Omar if you can hear me, and if you think we might be able to hear you. I saw them in use when I was a kid. So olive oil lamps inside the old houses. We may have solved that mystery this morning, which is lovely. So even if we can't hear you and can't see you, we can. Well, I think we've improved our line. Talk to me.
Hello.
There they are. So, whilst we might have a fragment of a decent connection, let us know. Let us know what's next in this journey of yours, in this wonderful journey of yours. What's the next bit?
Sort out the internet.
Yes.
That is definitely the next thing. What we want to do.
Okay.
So we're speaking to some people about. Yeah, there is no phone. The phone connection is very bad for me. So at the moment, it looks like our only option is to install a giant.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's impossible to hear you now. But was he saying there that the next thing is to install a satellite? Maybe gonna. Do you remember my guest on Tuesday, Raphael, was talking about Elon Musk's new, what did he call it? Skylink or something like that. It sounded like something from a James Bond movie, that you open up a briefcase and open up this great satellite dish. Maybe that's the thing. Talk to Elon about this, Andrea and Omar, about the possibility of a satellite dish. But I'm sure yeah, there we go. What was your name, you folks? I can't read that name, can I? They need Elon Musk's Starlink is what it's called. Okay. We wanted to have a real sustainable solution, but not entirely off grid, says Wayne. Renovation was too much risk on the budget, so are going for a new build using timber framed build clad with cork. Ooh, that's sexy. Thermal insulation and comfort, very important for us, says Wayne. Yeah, clad in cork. That sounds like a nice finish. Starlink is, says Ludwig Dingeldine, is Elon's system there. So maybe something to look into for Andrea and Omar. I'm going to put them on. They're still here. I'm going to put them on the screen anyway, so that they can wave and do thumbs up and stuff like that, and you can see their lovely faces. Just do it. Make the first step. It will be very different and a challenge, but so worth it. Haven't met many people that have regretted moving to Portugal. So would you agree with that? Thumbs up from you guys. I think we've got a good connection for a moment. So what's your part? Well, we've got it. What's your parting message, and anything else you want to say to people who are thinking about making the same journey and adventure as you?
Come here and explore first. Investigate a lot on Facebook groups. There's a ton of really good communities online to help you. And
don't assume everything that people tell you is the truth.
Yeah,
find out for yourself.
Find for yourself, for sure. That's another one. And things are not going to be very easy, but they will be a lot easier than you think they might be.
Completely.
Yeah.
And people are super friendly.
They're so friendly.
Yeah, just ask if you're not sure.
And just try. Just try. You'll regret it if you don't.
Amazing. What lovely advice to hear from you, Andrea and Omar. May we come back to you when you're a little bit further down the road and have another chat?
Please
yes,
do.
definitely.
That would be good. And we should have better connection next time, hopefully.
Yeah,
Fingers
in
crossed.
about 3 to 4 weeks.
3
hopefully.
weeks, we will have good internet.
But you know, it's a small price to pay. The difficulty we've had in communication this morning has been made worth it to connect with you and to hear about what you're doing. You're an inspiration to many people. So thanks for joining me this morning. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you
for
so
now.
much.
All the best to you. Happy Easter. Feliz Pascua. Bye for now. All
Thank
right.
you.
Ciao, ciao.
Até já.
Teja. Oh, fantastic. Aren't they lovely? Andrea and Omar there. Let me just put the things that you need to stay connected to them on Instagram. They are the Indigo. They've just had a little kiss and cuddle in the green room. I can still see you. Stop it. The Indigo Escape on Instagram.com and search them on YouTube as the Indigo Escape as well. Fantastic people, amazing adventure. This is. I was telling them, you know, they are the new telly. I think they were a little bit surprised by the amount of interest that people are showing. But you know, people make news. Stories and adventures make news, don't they? And are endlessly fascinating to the human mind. So I'm not surprised at all that they are so wonderfully popular on YouTube. So I'm thinking, we've got some news headlines to have a look at. Of course, tonight, as I said, we have the Ask Our Expats special on our Portugal Calling webinar. So we have an Ask Our Expats team. These are people who are based, who've made the move, like Andrea and Omar, who've made the move to Portugal and are happy to talk to you about it if you haven't made the move or are thinking about making the move. So we have our Portugal Calling webinar the first Thursday of every month. It is, of course, the 1st of April today, and that's not an April Fool's joke. We really will be gathering at 7:30 tonight, and we'll introduce you to those lovely people, tell you where they are in Portugal and what kind of lifestyle they live so that you can pick the right person for you to talk to. And then we go into breakout rooms and you can have a chat and sort of dig a bit deeper with that particular person from that particular part of Portugal that you're interested in. And you can, you know, and then we'll remix everybody again and you can talk to somebody else as the evening goes on. Good fun, very sociable, lovely people, as you would expect from the Expats Portugal community. And then, I don't know if you want to say any more about this, Gary, in the comments, but look what he's come up with for the Good Morning Portugal wine club tasting for tonight. It's a green bottle. It's thrown my green screen out completely. But look, this is a Portuguese classic. I said yesterday, this is to the liqueur world in Portugal what Matias Rosé is to the rosé world in Portugal. Liqueur Blanc celebrating its 100th year. I think we've got the export manager joining us tonight as well. We're going to be I've never tasted it myself. What I've read about it is it's like it's aromatherapy turned into a liqueur. So that sounds like fun, and it's a digestive is how it's often shared and enjoyed. So really looking forward to enjoying that for the first time myself tonight. Do join us. Bring whatever you've got. If you're around the world and you can't get this in your part of the world, bring whatever you've got and join us for our wine club. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Kate's here. Kate Gimlet's here. We have fiber with 100 megabits speed on a hilltop in the countryside near Alcobaça, even though our road doesn't have a name. So there you go. That's what's possible in Portugal. You may be in an unnamed road, but you can still get 100 MBS up there. We could never get this speed in the rural areas of the UK. Portugal is committed to that. Thank you. This was great. The poor internet was a small price to pay. Exactly. That's what I think, Louise. We have to try when we're talking to all these wonderful people, as you described them earlier on. I loved this, Carl, from Prosecco Peggy there. Yeah, I mean, it was made all the more exciting by those visuals, wasn't it? And so do subscribe to their YouTube channel. Cork, it's a great material. And of course, Portugal, one of the great cork producers of the world, makes most of the corks, as in corks, you know, for the bottles of wine, both heat and noise, as well as flame retardant, and does not need painting. Yes, plus it's giving back to the Portuguese. That's a good shout. Let me just have a quick sip of water. Excuse me. Getting far too excited on these mornings. Talking of excitement, well, I've got news of tomorrow's panel discussion about the pandemic, which I think is not going to be exciting necessarily, but it's going to be a very important discussion and a very useful one from some amazing people drawn from our community. Good morning, how are you? Says Maud Azam. Very well. How about you? Y contigo? Sergio Pimenta. Oh, lovely name. Next interview, OK Portugal or the Indie Project. Good calls, both there, Sergio. Can you get your people to speak to their people? I've got the feelers out for OK Portugal, and the Indie Project I haven't approached so far. But if you're in touch with them, drop them a line in their comments. Say you need to speak to that Good Morning Portugal guy. It's not competition; it's collaboration. This is what we're discovering, right? All of us expat groups, we don't need to compete with each other. We all do little different things, and it all comes together as a beautiful picture. I hope. All the best to you guys from Beverly. We'll look up the YouTube channel later. Yep, subscribe there. Sister Ella, simply put, with some nice little emojis there. Thank you for your company this morning, Sister Ella. Andrew Gilchrist, the UK internet is embarrassing compared to Europe. BT is way behind the rest of the developed world. You never guess it to listen to their advertising. Going for the rosé champagne sangria recipe for tonight. He's pushing the boat out. Not just the legendary liqueur that is Beryl, but rose champagne to go with it in a sangria. What could possibly go wrong? Andrew Gilchrist, from what I've heard, not even the French have good internet. So you're a bit happier. Yes. I see what you did there, Joel. Delicious and great in cooking is this stuff. Okay, I'm even looking forward to it even more. We are a bit tender this morning after enjoying some Cortain orange wine. Is that the Cortain organic vineyard? That sounds nice. Wayne, a bit tender there. Last night, not this morning, he hastens to add. No judgment here. My excitement is building with all the fab expats, but still in a holding pattern due to COVID. So many of us are, right, Susan? Hope it ends soon. Take all precautions, folks, to get rid of it ASAP, absolutely. And the way forward, that's what we're discussing tomorrow with Prosecco Peggy, who's here, with Will Thompson, the maverick ex-UK scientist, with Doc Thompson, the ex-doctor from the, or retired doctor, I should say, a better way of putting it, from the UK, and our wonderful Jenny B, Jennifer Baraku, who is a retired or former pharmacist as well. Great panel to talk about, how and can we even return to any kind of normal? First part of the question, first part of our investigation tomorrow. And how should we do it? The practical steps. So much talk, obviously, about the pandemic, about COVID, turns into some very emotional and difficult stuff. We're no strangers to that, all of us. When you've been on any kind of social media talking about it, we want to talk about the practical steps. What should we do to get back to any sense of normal? That's tomorrow, Good Friday, from 9 o'clock. Probably an extended program tomorrow for that. I installed cork flooring in Canada. Loved it. I mean, cork flooring and cork tiles were big in the UK, where I'm from, in the 70s. But we had a very particular sort of pack of cork tiles from the DIY store. They were quite thin. And nobody wanted to take them off a few years later after they'd been glued down to the floor or in the kitchen and varnished 12 times or whatever. But that's, we have to change our perception of cork, I think, certainly if that is your memory of it. Wayne Barker, great point. I think that's probably about the cork as well. Paul and Louise, we had no rad name for over 10 years. Wonder what that means. Then it just appeared when people asked, road name, that would be. When people asked how to get to us, we said that we went past the Lavaduro and then they'd gone too far. Yes, that's very Portuguese story. We got 1.1 gigs fiber in Lisbon and it blows my mind, says Andrew. Yes, things arrive before you even ask for them with that speed of internet, especially the Google ads, funnily enough. Sean Maguire, been looking for a bottle of Amaretto di Saronno. Anyone got any tips? I think my local winery does that. You need to be going to an independent garrafera. Sean, I'm sure there's one or two of those around your way. We have Portuguese wines in New Zealand, so we'll be ordering. Yes, try the Beryl for a bit of a treat. Andrew Gilchrist, I have the more peasant 100 megabits, and it's enough for gaming, streaming, and movies. That's just north or just outside of Porto in Matosinhos, in case you're wondering. This was to keep the missus happy. Probably, partner working online there. A long time no see. Oh, here he is, the man responsible for our lovely intros and outros, which I think Andrew and Omar enjoyed this morning. Those scenes of Central Portugal. Been busy building a new giant barbecue for whole hogs. You're going the whole hog, literally, at our social club. And this morning have been to the butcher for our Easter chamfana. You're keeping busy in Central Portugal there, Pete. Great to hear from you. Any news when we can get back to Portugal by car? Ludwig, I don't know at the moment. I've nothing to share with you on that. I'm sorry to say, and I will if I hear anything. You haven't lived until you've experienced dial-up. Yes, kids, you don't know you're born. But our website has some great cocktails, says Gary, and food recipes. Food as well. Kathleen, Kate, we call you, don't we, Kathleen Gimblett? May I request a guest spot for your partner, Louisa? No, certainly not. She's got to look after the kids at this time of day. She was so informative when on that other show. Solve the mystery. No, I don't want her coming on here and making me look bad like she did on that. Solve the mystery of why we can't use the toaster. Yes, the kettle and the oven at the same time. Absolutely. Let alone the hairdryer. I was looking at my Luisa's hairdryer. It's got Christina Aguilera written on it. I'll say to her, did you know your hairdryer is sponsored by Christina Aguilera? Just one of those funny features of the modern world. Hank Stelica, the anxiety of the 50. They're reminiscing about their 56K collections. Go make a cup of tea while you're waiting for your game to download or whatever it was. But don't dry your hair and put the kettle on at the same time for obvious reasons. Cork tiles, Carl. Now you're showing your age, young man. Paul, where's that link? Hank Stelica, 56K. Oh, happy times. You lot, use what 3 words if you have no toad name? I think that is also, if you haven't named your toad yet, if you've got a pet toad and it hasn't got a name, go to what 3 words? But I actually think that's probably your road name. Continent. Look at this. Everyone helping each other this morning. Sean, you go to Continent for the de Sorano, that liqueur that you were asking about, the amaretto. It's everywhere, says Maxine, so you shouldn't struggle there. Certainly in Continent, says Peggy. I started with a 300 baud modem back in whatever the BBS days were, if you know what that is. Miss it in some ways. Yes, you could practice a little bit of mindfulness meditation, couldn't you, while you were waiting for things to happen. When people used to go on the internet just to look around rather than to buy things or anything like that. Hi from Seattle, Washington, USA. Love your show, says Linda. My husband and I have just started exploring retiring to Portugal. You and your guests have provided so much great info. Glad to hear it, Linda. Carl, download back in those days would take at least 1 full day. That's right. Set it up and then go out for the day. Come back and play the game in the evening. Missed who asked, but I just drove back to Portugal. Yes, we have from Louise and from the doc journeys back from the UK in recent times. I think the person who was asking about official border opening, though. On standard Potentia, you huddle around the light bulb to keep warm, says Gary, who's obviously experienced that as well. You need to upgrade the incoming current into your house. Kate, seriously, I'm sure Louisa and I will do some shows together in due course. But yeah, we do take it in turns. We're tag team parenting. Link sent to Expats Portugal. Oh, I see. Okay, so there's that. Can you do it in Facebook, please, Paul? That would be really cool. You're connected to me on Facebook, aren't you? That's going to be a whole lot easier for me if you can bung that into Facebook for me. It's a little bit more complicated going to Expats Portugal at the moment. Not that it is complicated signing up to Expats Portugal, which you must do. expatsportugal.com/community is our forum. It's just a mailbox. Be easier for me on Facebook. Pretty sure there is Cork clothing, shoes, caps, bags, etc. Now, this is a thing between me and Mrs. M. Can anybody solve this? In those souvenir shops, Portuguese souvenir shops, yes, there are handbags, hats, and all manner of other things, lighters, whatever, anything a tourist might not need but buys anyway, with a cork print on them. I've said to Mrs. M, that is not real cork, that is cork. That's a cork print, not real cork. Am I wrong? Denise, you may know from over there in New Zealand. Guys, going to download a song and then go to bed. Nobody pick up the phone until tomorrow. Those were the days, weren't they? Around Y2K. Love you guys, says Hank. Pamela's here. She'll be with us tonight as well. She is one of our Ask Our Expats team, who you can find at expatsportugal.com. Good morning, Bondia. Just dropping by to say I'm looking forward to the Ask Our Expat session tonight. Pam in Alcobaça, our own Alcobaça ambassador, who can tell you all about the Silver Coast and especially Alcobaça there, okay? Caldas de Reina, those sorts of areas. San Martinho de Porto. Join us if you want to learn more about Alcobaça and the Silver Coast. Óbidos, those are the areas Pam knows all about. And she gives great value for money talking about those if you book her up for a one-to-one session. I remember when I was in my Monte Alentejano and I was learning to use a Mac. So I spent that I'm not sure what you mean, Maxine, but more happy memories there of the early internet, I suspect. I need yoga blocks. Surely there must be cork ones here. That's a good merchandising opportunity. Carl, there are bags and other stuff made of real cork. Well, I thought it was print on those things. I didn't think you could make it that thin. You're wrong. It is cork. Oh dear. Very easy to wash with just hand soap as well is cork. This is amazing. It's a cork fest this morning. I remember my first... I think she keeps getting cut off by her internet, does Maxine? Cork manufactured, so it's flexible. Okay, fair enough. I was wrong. You can get yourself a cork hat or a cork handbag or a cork whatever from a Portuguese tourist shop. Okay, I think we have some info just in. Okay, some interesting news then to share with you. Let's just have a quick look at the news headlines before we go this morning. Have we got a picture for this? I think we might have somewhere. Let me see if I can share this with you. But bear with me for just a moment while I find this and share with you a little bit of incoming news at the moment. Am I going to have to ask Paul? Paul, thank you for your executive production this morning, Paul. Really appreciate it. Okay, now I think we've got what we need now. Okay, so this is interesting news just in this morning. Stay tuned for this. I'll cover this and then we'll go. I need to have a lie down, obviously. Ahead of tonight's shenanigans. But let me just put a picture on the screen for you so that you can see what's being talked about here. Exciting stuff, this. Okay, so on the screen there, you're seeing a dramatic picture. And I can tell you more about this right now. Here on the Good Morning Portugal show, remember where you heard it first. So let's just, I hope you're still seeing that on the screen there. Let me just make sure. Okay, fantastic. And what's happening here? Let me tell you. There's a bold new plan, apparently, that could bring hope, tourists, and snow, no less. Whoa, to the Algarve. After weeks of in-depth discussions, often heated yet appropriately socially distanced, a multidisciplinary team of Portuguese government officials has proudly revealed a plan to revive the beleaguered Algarve. A daring scheme, codenamed, at least for now, Operação Algarve, has been declared one of Portugal's most innovative and ingenious attempts, not just to stimulate, but to positively arouse national GDP from the south of Portugal upwards. The plucky collective of publicly funded economists, tourism experts, and marketing influencers will unveil today, Thursday, the 1st of April, unveil their plan to bring the French Alps to the south of the Iberian Peninsula with a multimedia PowerPoint-based presentation. Obviously, this would ordinarily be an impossible geological feat, pointed out project director Senor Valente, who impressed the Prime Minister with his earlier work on EU bank bailouts and the now infamous COVID Christmas 2020 initiative. He went on to say, "We have used the latest holographic technology to concertina these unlikely land masses together to create the most exciting tourism innovation since Vasco da Gama set off in search of new worlds," he added via Zoom. Whoa, sun worshippers and ski fans alike are expected to flock to the Algarve. See what they did there, the Algarve, within weeks of opening, subject to pandemic travel restrictions, next generation vaccination passports, tattoos, and mental health checkups. How the anticipated influx of tourists and subsequent cash flow is managed will be revealed via teleconference soon, say organisers. The experience is likely to involve a combination of virtual reality goggles, a bespoke app, crampons, and high-factor sunscreen. Consultation, research, and development costs have inevitably spiraled as the unrivaled hashtag sun and snow concept has taken shape. However, insiders are confident that the part EU-funded €907 million feasibility and implementation costs will be recouped within 56 years of operation of the project, with the help of taxpayers, of course. We can't wait to have the tourists back in bikinis, boots, or both, said Diogo, a local bar owner. Some of my pals are already calling this town Portimont Blanc. Very good. It looks like it won't only be the Brits getting pieced if this amazing plan comes together. Well, I never. And that's a picture credit, I think, there from Mr. Richards himself, who managed to capture that for this an incredible project this morning. So let's have a look at your comments. Isn't that amazing? This morning, is it okay to participate in the wine club if the wine is not available here? Yes. Bring your own bottle. Bring what you've got. Our government-run liquor store has a small selection of wines. Yes, bring whatever you've got. It's the buzz, it's the crack that we're more interested in. So if you haven't got the exact thing, just bring what you've got, and we have a great time from 9 o'clock on a Thursday. What's this? And the painted on stains of flowers or city scenes last a long time because the cork has absorbed the tint. So that's prints onto cork. Just a point about the electricity feed, says Andrew Gilchrist. I'll leave the pictures of that incredible Alpgarve project in the background there. We renovated our place in Lisboa and the building supply was 3-phase, but most domestic use appliances are single-phase. Yeah, and you get them uprated as well, don't you, Andrew? Thank you very much. Or a bottle of wine with a cork. That is probably the easiest and best way to enjoy cork, isn't it? Is by pulling it out of the wine bottle. Okay. What? No. Really? Maxine, Joel, Antonio F. Have I been had here? Nice try. Pamela, cork is an excellent insulation material and sustainable. We should bring it back into fashion. We so should. Great. Jerry's here. Jerry, what's happened to me? Is my professional reputation at stake here? Have I been had? I'm thinking that a certain Paul R may have had something to do with this pick. We had a similar proposal a few years back by our local politicians to put in a dry ski slope, but they were serious. Lucky it never went ahead. Louise, thanks. Although I can't order off Amazon here and would like to support local. Fair enough. Bit of consumer advice being swapped. Lol, says Joe. As if the government would ever do proper investment in Portugal and not consider putting half of the budget into their own project. He's managed to plot twist that back to his own politics there, Joel. Love the humour, says Mark. Andrew, you could go skiing straight into the sea. This is the thinking behind it, I think, Andrew. What? No, certainly not. It's the Serra de Alveazara as well. So this could happen all over Portugal, couldn't it? This Alpgarve extension. Incredible. I think it's an amazing idea. I'm in support, and I wish you an excellent day. Take care. Bye for now. See you tonight for the Portugal Calling webinar or the Wine Club, or for tomorrow morning for our pandemic panel when we discuss where we should go next. Logically, practically, the steps we might take to get back to some kind of normal. Take care, folks. Have a great day. All the best to you. This is what we do at the end.